Hello everyone, my name is Shivam Deshpande. I have completed the task 6 of the Data Science and Business Analytics internship at the Sparks Foundation. The task 6 is to create the decision tree classifier and visualize it graphically. So, the motive of this task is if we feed any new data to the decision tree classifier, then it would be able to predict the right class accordingly. Okay, so let me just give you a small overview about decision tree. We'll understand it simply by referring to the own decision tree that we have plotted in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so this is the decision tree. Now, decision tree is a process of dividing the data sets into different categories or different groups. Basically, the algorithm adds a data point to a particular group on the basis of some conditions applied. Okay, so you can see these are the nodes and these are the connections. So every decision tree contains nodes and connections. So talking about the terminologies used in decision trees, the every decision tree will contain one root node, then sub nodes called as child nodes, and leaf nodes. Okay, so the root node is the first node or main node in the decision tree. To this root node we are going to give our entire data set. Okay, and by asking some questions, by putting some conditions at this node, we are going to further break down our data set into different data points. Okay, this is done for prediction. And if you see here, all of these nodes, now these successors are called as child nodes, and the parent is called as this is the parent node basically. Okay, parent nodes and child node, this is the concept in decision tree. And there is a leaf node. So if we follow this process, then ultimately we'll reach to a node, uh, the node from where we cannot break down our data further. So this is the leaf node. Okay, now this is all of this is done for prediction. Okay, so if I tell you about the data set that we have given, this is the data set that we have given. It contains the four input variables: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and one predictor variable of species. Okay, so our task here is to provide this data set to uh, all the nodes here, and ultimately we are going to find out, or we are going to predict uh, one of the species in this predictor variable species. Okay, so there are three different species: Setosa, then versicolor, and virginica. Okay, so these are the different species that we have given, that are present in the species column. Okay, so now talking about the splitting criteria. Basically, first of all, the decision tree, there are many methods, there are many algorithms which are followed for plotting this decision tree. If I tell you the names like CART, ID3, C4.5, Mars, there are many such algorithms. We are going to use the CART algorithm here. CART algorithm is classification and regression tree. Now, what we do in this algorithm, uh, okay, so you can see the root node here. So in CART algorithm, first of all, we give our entire data set to this root node, and we will ask some questions to every such nodes to break down our data further. Okay, uh, and the ultimate goal is to predict the right class. Okay, so this is what the CART algorithm is, the basic idea about CART algorithm. Now there are again various methods of this splitting. Okay, splitting is breaking down a single node into multiple nodes. There are again various splitting criterias used. Okay, so like if I tell you the names again: reduction in variance, information gain, then Gini index are some of the criterias. We are going to use Gini index over here. Now to tell you about the Gini index. Okay, so Gini index is the measure of impurity used in building a decision tree. Okay, so what is impurity? Now, impurity, you can call the impurity as degree of imperfection. Okay, so every leaf node here will have the Gini index of 0. Why? Because There is no imperfection found in this leaf node because we cannot break down break down our data set further at this node. Okay. And the Gini index or the impurity Gini impurity at all the others node will be non-zero. Why? Because there is some imperfection in it, and we can divide our data set further down. Okay. So this is the basic idea about what is Gini impurity. There is a formula for Gini impurity. uh, Okay, so if you look down here, the value of Gini index or Gini impurity at any particular node, if we split on that node, is equal to 1 minus the 1 minus p1 square plus p2 square plus p3 square up to pn square. So here the n samples have been considered. Uh, if we consider the two samples, then the Gini index will be equal to 1 minus the probability of square of the square of probability of first sample minus the square of probability of second sample. Okay, so we'll understand this with this particular plot, with this particular decision tree. First, let me tell you about the data set. Okay, because we have given the data set at this node, and further we have break down to the particular sub nodes. Okay, so how we have splitted this. So tell you about this data set. So our data set contains four input variables: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and one output variable or predictor variable, you can say, is the species. Okay, there are total 150 entries in the data set. Okay, 150 entries of each of this column. So 150 entries of species as well. Now here three types of species we can found: Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. Now each species have 50 entries. So there are 50 entries of Setosa, there are 50 entries of versicolor, and there are 50 entries of virginica. Okay. Now one insight about this data set is, if you can note here, first 50 entries are of Setosa, and if I consider this variable, that is petal width. Okay, so for this Setosa class, the petal width has minimum value of zero point 0.1 and it has maximum value of zero point 0.6. Okay, so petal width for Setosa ranges from zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.6. So this is the range. Why we why we are needing this? Because we have to predict the class of Setosa. Okay, so here the root node, at the root node, we have considered the variable petal width. Okay, you can consider any variable in the root node to break it down further. uh, First of all, here we have used petal width. Now this x of 3 is petal width, because if you can see here in info, uh, the petal width has the number 3. Okay, it has been encoded basically in the numeric variable, because we don't need this categorical variable, right? So the petal width having the number 3. Similarly, petal length, sepal width, sepal length has also some numbers. So here the petal width has been used. Okay, now the condition is applied here. Okay, so petal width, if petal width is less than or equal to zero point 0.8, okay, then if this condition is true or if this condition is false, we are going to get some nodes here. Okay, now if petal width is less than or equal to zero point 0.8, and as I've said, the range for species Setosa, considering the sepal width, is zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.6. Okay, so if I ask this question, petal width less than or equal to zero point 0.8, and if it is true, then it is going to give me the answer of species Setosa. And if it is false, then we are left with the two species, that is versicolor and virginica. Okay, so basically this question is used here, and we have splitted our data set. Okay, now talking about the Gini index or Gini impurity, how it has been done. Okay, so considering these two indexes, and we have split it down our data set by giving or by considering the petal width here. Okay, So if I tell you about this, how this Gini index has come, okay. So referring to this particular formula, the Gini index of this will be equal to, now here we are having two samples, right? We are having versicolor and virginica, two samples, each are of 50. So total samples are 100. 50 are of versicolor and 50 are of virginica. Okay, so you can also see here 0 comma 50 comma 50. It tells you that there are no samples of setosa, there are 50 samples of virginica, and there are 50 samples of versicolor, because here you can see. Okay, so this is the meaning of this value, and this samples, total samples are 100 because 50 are of virginica and 50 are of versicolor. So how this Gini index has been calculated? Okay, so there are two samples, versicolor and virginica, each are of 50 entries. Okay, so 50 are of virginica, 50 are of versicolor, and total samples are 100. Okay, so applying this formula over here, the Gini index at this node will be equal to 1 minus 50 divided by 100, which is the probability of virginica, and again the square of 50 divided by 100 minus the square of again 50 divided by 100, which is r of versicolor. So it will come down 1 minus 50 divided by 100 the whole square, that is 1 by 2 the whole square, minus again 1 by 2 the whole square. Okay, so ultimately it will be equal to 1 minus 1 by 2, that is 1 minus zero point 0.5, that is equal to zero point 0.5. So this is the Gini index of zero point 0.5. And as I already earlier said that the Gini index of the leaf node will always be equal to 0. So this is the leaf node. Why it is 0? Because here we are having only the species of setosa, okay, that is of 50 entries, and the total samples here are also 50. Okay, so probability of setosa here will be equal to 1, and 1 minus the square of 1 will be equal to 0. And again, this is also the leaf node here. Okay, so impurity or Gini impurity is 0 in this particular node. Okay, so this is the basics of how the decision tree has been built. I've shown you how the splitting has been done using Gini index. Okay, so now I will just quickly tell you the code that I've made. Okay, so first of all, importing the data set. Okay, I have used pandas, NumPy, then from sklearn dot datasets, I've used datasets. Now this is just to load the iris dataset, because sklearn contains the library of datasets where you can find the iris dataset. Okay, then from sklearn I've imported tree and decision tree classifier. So decision tree classifier is the function that we are going to use for creating our classifier. Okay, then I finally imported the matplotlib for plotting this decision tree. I'll tell you how I did that further part in the video. Now loading the dataset. Iris equal to datasets dot load iris. So load iris is the function that we have used here for loading the iris dataset. Now this will give me many much information about this iris. First of all, it will give me all the columns over here. These columns are nothing but all of these data. Okay, all of this data. Then it will give me many other information about like target. Target is nothing but our predictor variable. Then target names and many more information. Okay, we don't want all of this. We only want some information from this. Okay. So first we want iris.data. Okay, iris.data are nothing but all the columns over here. We are going to need it. Then iris.feature names. So iris.feature names are nothing but all these four columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, because these are the features of our data set. Okay, so these are feature names. Then iris.target names. So as I said, the predictor values, predictor variables. So there are three species in species column over here, which is Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. Now, the function that I said just earlier, the decision tree classifier, this function requires only the numerical values. Okay, for building the classifier, it requires only numerical value. it cannot accept any categorical value, but this is these are categorical values. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to encode these values into numerical ones. So iris.target does for that does this for us. Okay, so Setosa has been encoded to 0, versicolor has been encoded to 1, and virginica has been encoded to 2. Okay, so this is one part. Then finally, to view our data set, we are passing some parameters to the data frame. So first parameter are the rows. So the rows will be all the numerical entries in iris.data. So this will be the rows in our data frame. And talking about the columns, the iris.feature names will be all the columns. So iris.feature names are this. Okay, these will be all the columns in our data set. Okay, so these are all the columns, and these are the rows to create a data frame. Okay, so the data frame also you can view here. Now exploring the data. Okay, the shape of the data set, 150 total rows are there, and there are 4 columns. Then describe function gives us some statistical information. So the mean of the data set, the standard deviation of it, then what are the minimum and maximum values it contains, then what are the percentile values it contains, so 25th percentile of the data set, 50th percent, and much information, and it also gives us the count. Okay, then data df.info gives me some other information about it, like what all columns that it contains, do these columns contain any null values, and what are the data types of these columns. Okay, now with this finally we create the decision tree classifier. Okay, so as I said, this function is going to be used for creating the decision tree classifier. We have passed this, or we have feed this to d tree variable. Okay, and from d tree we are fitting our data set. So there are two parameters passed over here. One is the df, that is the data frame that we have created, and the second will be the iris.target. Now iris.target will be these encoded values, right? Because we have to predict this, so we have passed this as our second parameter, and the first parameter we have passed is the data frame. Okay, so this dot fit function will create the decision tree classifier. Okay, and and you can see that decision tree classifier has been created. Okay, so then visualizing the decision tree classifier. So it has been done using the plt.figure. So here we are adjusting our figure size. Okay, and there is one function called plot tree. Okay, this function is going to plot this decision tree classifier, and we are passing our d tree variable to this classifier for plotting this decision tree. Okay, so this was all about the decision tree classifier and whatever I have done in my code. So I hope I've successful in telling you about all of this. So thank you so much, guys.